Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about the top 4 leadership questions you should ask yourself every day. Hey, this is Brady Nash. Welcome to the Accidental Entrepreneur. Question number 1, would you want to work with you? Would you want to follow you? Seems like a pretty straightforward question, but it is super important. And I believe this question isn't only in leadership, this applies to all areas of your life. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. So we had a high school group, actually this was middle school, this is 5th and 6th graders, come to our office building. They did a tour, we do a lot of different tours. They asked if I'd come and speak to these 5th and 6th graders at the end of the event. I'm like, sure, I'd love to do it. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk to these kids about? Because, you know, they're probably not thinking about businesses. They're probably not thinking about what job they're going to have, or very few of them are. But I wanted to give them something of value. And it kind of hit me that this is something I could put in their mind that would be relatable. And so I asked them, hey, if you had to make your own best friend, if you were going to print out your best friend, what are the qualities that you would want in a best friend? And so I went around the room and I asked these 5th and 6th graders, what are the qualities you want? And they started raising their hands. And they said, nice. They wanted a friend that would be nice. I'm like, that's a good quality to have. If you're having a friend that's nice, being nice. I'm like, get it. I'm like, what are the other qualities you would want? They said, dependable. I'm like, dependable? What do you mean dependable? Well, like if they said they're going to come over to my house, they actually show up. They don't bail on you. They don't ditch you. You know, if they say they're going to bring a toy over or come over and play basketball, they actually do it. I'm like, oh, that's a good one, dependable. I'm like, what else? They said, encouraging. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they said, well, someone that would say you wanted to try out for the basketball team, you wanted to try out for a sport, they would actually like encourage you, like be positive and, you know, have your back. I'm like, that's a very good quality to have in a best friend. They said trust. I'm like, what do you mean trust? It's like, well, you know, you could tell secrets too. They're not going to go and tell other people in the school. They're not going to make fun of you. They're, you know, just someone that you could trust with any secret. That I'm like, that's a really good quality in a best friend. They had respectful. I'm like, respectful? I'm like, what do you mean respectful? They're like they'll treat your stuff well. If they come over to your parents' house, they're not going to break your toys. They're not going to break, you know, yeah, they're going to be respectful of your home and your possessions. And I'm like, yeah, that's another good quality. And one girl, I can't believe she came up was empathetic. I'm like, empathy? I'm like, really? I'm like, explain to me. I just wanted to make sure I understood what she thought by empathy. And it was that if something happened, say your cat got run over or your grandmother passed away, they would like be there. They'd like empathize and understand how you're feeling and maybe, you know, treat you a little bit differently around that period of time to pick you up and understand that you're going through a tough time. I'm like, yeah, again, and a best friend. That would be great. So then what I did was I flipped the roles. I asked them, those are all fantastic qualities, so my question is, do you have those qualities? And they got quiet, and you can almost hear them thinking, I have some of these and I don't. So my question is, do you have those qualities? So in leadership, what are the qualities you'd want in a good leader? I'm telling you ask them. What are the qualities you would want or you believe would be in a good leader? Write them down. Then I want you to be honest and do you have those qualities? Yes or no? Why or why not? I'm not telling you how you should feel, but when you look at that, do you like your answer to it? And if not, what are you going to do to change it? The leadership qualities, just rambling a bunch of things off, would be inspiring, trustworthy, dependable, empathy, friendly. And the point I was making with these kids as we went through this thing was, these are qualities that are qualities you take through your entire life no matter what you want to do. So the next step was, you know, I got them thinking about being a good friend. Then I asked, well, let's say you build and you grow up and you're going to go and I recruit them to go into business. We're going to be business partners was the example I gave. And we're going to go and we're going to hire a bunch of people. What are the qualities we're going to look for in people we want to hire? I'm like, and so they went around, they raised their hands again. What do you think they said? They said dependable, friendly, trustworthy, right? You don't want to hire people you can't trust. Trust is a big one. People that lie or In our world, we deal with bank account numbers, credit card numbers, social security. Like, if I can't trust you, you can't be in our business. Trust is super huge, right? But I would argue, can you work with anyone in any level if you can't trust them? Would you want to be in a relationship if you can't trust them? No. Trust is huge. Integrity. Respectful. So they list all these same qualities, and then I ask them the same question. Do you guys have those qualities? Meaning, would you hire you? Why or why not? And so the exercise is to get people to identify the qualities they know are good, because majority of people know this, but then are they reflecting it? Why or why not? And if they don't like it, what are they going to change so they do meet those qualities? What are they going to change so they can be a best friend? They would be their own best friend. They would want to work for them. They would want to hire them. And so we went on, and I'm like, would you want to work for you? And this is the question I'm asking you guys. Would you want to work for you? Do you have those leadership qualities? Why or why not? And if you don't, what are you going to do to change so you get them? And maybe it's not a light switch. Maybe you got to work on being inspiring. Maybe you got to work on your education so you can help people out more. Maybe you got to be consciously aware of being more patient, being more empathetic. Again, you answer those questions. I just want to guide you through this process through your life of learn to ask yourself questions, give yourself honest answers, and then decide. If you don't like that, what are you going to do about it? Change it, because that's up to you. That's number one. Number two, you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. So my strengths for me is I connect with people. I always have. I'm good at bringing people together. I'm good at helping people understand different viewpoints and getting people to work together. I do a lot of our conflict resolution between leaders and managers and help people, that's why I was good at sales, help people understand a perspective, right? I'm really good at multitasking and flipping gears really, really quick from one thing to the other. A lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people are different. I'm not good at doing one thing for a long period of time. I like details, I like the big vision, but I'm not good at getting into the little details and following through that are super important. Other people are really good at doing one or two things and diving really, really deep. I'm not, and most things I'm not. I'm very good at juggling a lot of different things, but I get bored really, really fast. In traction terms, I'm a visionary, I'm not an integrator. Thank God, I have a lot of really good integrator types on my team to help me. So it's important you understand your strengths so you can focus and be aware of the things you're going to be good at and where you're weak, so you can, one, figure out how to improve them, or actually make sure you get someone that loves that stuff, that's natural at it, and make sure that they're backing you up to fill that gap. So again, leadership has a lot to do with being brutally honest with yourself. Asking yourself, we talked about, are you a good leader? Now we're talking about, what are you good at? What are you not good at? And you've got to be able to swallow that pill and understand you're not good at everything. Listen, I'm super confident. I believe in my abilities. I understand there's things I'm really great at, and the reality is there's some things I'm terrible at. That's okay. Understand it. Learn where you have to improve those things, or also where you're going to delegate those things to someone who's really, really good at them, or else you're going to have problems in your organization. A blessing and a curse. One is I'm very inclusive. I don't like to judge people. Most people say that's a really good quality. It is. It helps me in recruiting. I'm a recruiter because I don't like to, when I see problems and issues in people, I want to see how I can help them. I want to look past that. I don't like to judge. I'm like, yeah, you got these issues, but I can help make you better. But the problem is that's not good in an interview process. My problem is I meet with 5 people and I probably like all 5 of them. If I met 10 people, I probably like 9 of them. I don't want to hire all of them. I'm not good in that position or role, so I don't typically do the interviews until it gets through the 3rd round, and then maybe there's 1 or 2 people, or I'm getting them excited to come and work here. I have other people that are a lot more detailed and can start asking the right questions, and they don't go into recruitment mode, they go into an interview role. So I'm terrible at it. It's something I've realized. I'm not a good interviewer. I can tell you when I see someone I think they'll be a rock star, but I have a tough time disqualifying people because I see the good in everyone. Again, I think it's a good thing, but it also has a weakness that comes with the strength. I have a super addictive personality, right? Meaning I can obsess about work. There's nights I can't sleep because I'm thinking over and over and over. That can be a good thing. It also can be a negative thing if I put that energy into the wrong areas. So understanding who you are. Why are you good at the things you're good at, and why are you not good at the things you're not good at? Again, understanding your strengths and weaknesses is something you need to learn, and you need to be reevaluating constantly as your skills develop and your focus develops. Number 3, are you using your time wisely? Are you using your time to the best of your ability? You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing. Between phone calls and emails and meetings and water cooler conversations that break out, you can be busy. You can be even having conversations around work and business, but what are you getting done? And so it's very important to make sure that you have a list of tasks that you're gonna get done every single day. We follow Traction, the EOS process. It helps us with rocks and goals, and it makes sure that you're moving the big things along that are important, because all the other stuff are gonna fill in around it. That's the sand, right? That'll fill in around the rocks is the idea. And so if you don't put those rocks in first, they fill up with sand and water and there's nothing you can do. And so time management, task management, every day I have a list of things I have to get done. I'm not going to bed until I get them done. And that makes sure I'm moving the big pieces along. The impromptu phone calls, the impromptu meetings, the impromptu fires that get created every day will fill in around it. I'll get that in. But if I don't get those other things, then they just won't happen. And so I can look back, man, I was really busy. I was really busy the whole day, but what did I do? What do I have to show for it? And so be deliberate with your time. Block off the proper amount of time. Make sure every day you have a goal, a task that you want to make sure you're moving along in spite of everything else that's going to happen. And you're going to see the goals of where you're going. You're going to see those achievements just happen because you've got a plan around it. But it won't just happen. It's like going to the gym. If you imagine if you went to the gym, you're just like, I'm going to work out. You probably see people like that. You probably seen me back in the day when I'd go. It's just like, I'm going to walk around. I see some people, have some fun conversations, throw the bench press up a couple times, sit on the leg machine. Actually, never left legs. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? You sit around, and I thought about it. And maybe you run a little bit, play some basketball. Like, there's no real plan. If you watch anyone that's in really, really good shape, they typically have a plan. They have things they do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Legs, chest, back, cardio. There's a plan. And if you're really good, they measure it and they track it, right? They know what they did, so they know what they're trying to go for. They have a goal, so they can measure their performance. You need to do the same thing in your business and in your personal life. What are you getting done? You talk about leadership qualities. What are you doing? Maybe it's like, for example, watching this vlog right now. Maybe you're like, hey, this is making me think. Listen, there's a lot of people like me, a lot of people a lot better than me. Find other sources that will help inspire you and get you thinking every single day. It's not something you go and you do once a month. You don't go to church on Sunday and walk out, now you're a good person, you're a Christian. It's habits every single day. So have habits and create a plan for success. Don't waste your time. Know whether that's working out. Know, carve out time to be a good husband, to be a good wife. Like, how are you investing into your marriage? How can you have a good marriage if you're not putting any time into it? How can you be a good dad if you don't have any time set aside that you're going to focus on your kids at all? Maybe it's not every day, because it can't. But on Wednesday afternoon, you are focused on your kids, your phone's put away, and you're focused on them. That's their time. Because if you don't set boundaries, things happen. Emails happen, phone calls happen, random conversations happen. You can get stuck scrolling on Facebook. That's happened to me. Don't let that happen to you. Be purposeful and have a plan that follow it. And have it mix around your life and what you want it to be, but just be deliberate with it. Number 4, what did you do to help your team today? What did you do to be a leader? Listen, there's a lot of different ways to be a good leader, but what did you do? What are the action steps? How did you encourage your team? How did you inspire your team? How did you work on something that's going to help your organization grow? For example, some of the things we've done at B&G, we have B&G Grow, which is really focused on their professional development. So the managers have a plan to work through their team about how can we increase your skills so you can provide more value in your role, or maybe those are skills to allow them to turn into a manager or a tier 2 or tier 3 tech or whatever career path, that there's a plan to up their level of talent. We're all about growing at B&G, and being a leader is how are you helping your team grow? Meaning, I'll never be a 10 at anything in my life, and if you're honest with yourself, you will neither. Meaning there's always room for improvement. Even things you're great at, there's always room for improvement. And I believe that's a growth mindset that we need to have. I think I'm a good husband. I know I can be better. I think I'm a good leader. I know there's lots of room for improvement. And if you were to ask my team, they'd be like, yeah, there's lots of room. My point is, my wife would say I'm a good husband, but I know it can be a lot better. I think I'm a good father. I want to be a better father. And so these are things you should have that attitude, not of disappointment, but knowing that you want to keep pushing that envelope of growth. And what are the action steps behind it? Don't just talk about it. It's good to talk about it, but only if that's helping reinforce your action and holding yourself accountable. And so we also have, we launched B&G Inspire. This is that kind of came from the concept of the dream manager role of how we're helping our team in their personal lives. We want to authentically care and show them that. Because if I can help them in their personal life, right, whether that's having a new child, Aaron behind the video camera just had his first baby. I've got 5 kids. I get it. It's super exciting, life-changing. There's nothing better than that. I think, can you show your team that you authentically, empathetically care? That means a lot. People don't want to be a number. How are you making your team better? Are you investing into leadership skills that then you can teach them? Are you helping them discover those paths because maybe they're not thinking about it? Are you creating an environment that encourages that type of growth mindset? And so every single day, what are you doing to move that needle forward? Are you investing into yourself to be a better leader? How are you helping that team? How are you helping them grow in their personal life and their professional life? Because it helps everyone. It helps society, it helps your life. You're going to feel better. I've learned that as great as it is to receive, it is so much better to give. I've realized fulfillment in my life comes from helping people, and I encourage you, if you're not doing that, to try it. It is so much more fun. So to wrap up this whole leadership vlog today, I want to read a quote that came from the movie Facing the Giants. It said, "Your attitude is like the aroma of your heart. If your attitude stinks, it means your heart's not right." I think that's so important. Ask yourself questions. Are you being honest? Are you being the leader you'd want to follow? Are you being the employee that you would want to hire? Are you being the husband you would want to marry? Are you being the wife that you'd want to marry? Are you being the dad or mother that you'd want to have? These are questions you've got to ask yourself. Then what are you going to do with the answers if you don't like that? The other thing is, leading by example is not just the best way to lead, it's the only way. It's nice for people to hear things, but the reality is kids watch their parents and they do what they do. They do what they see their parents doing, not what they say. And so to be a leader, you got to be in the front line, you got to live it, you got to believe it. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but you should be working on growing. So your team members want to grow as well. It's not saying you're perfect because they're not perfect, no one is, but it's having the consistent effort and attitude to do it. So again, leading by example is not the best way, only the best way to lead, it is the only way. And so I want to encourage you guys to keep being leaders. The world needs you. I'll be rooting for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this. If you have any comments around what you liked or any other ideas that you could encourage others or any famous quotes that you like, please comment below. I want to see them. I want to hear them. Thanks for taking the time today. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys grow, and I will see you next time.